Start off today's news by first looking at the situation in the U.S. The problem is far from over. The rescue effort continues and flood warning remains in effect for several states in the wake of Hurricane Irene, which battered the nation days ago. U.S. President Barack Obama has declared North Carolina and New York as major disaster regions, with the move allowing the two hard-hit states to receive extra funds for relief efforts. The powerful storm has been blamed for taking the lives of 44 people in 13 states and for causing nationwide damage estimated at more than $10 billion. More than 1.8 million people are still without electricity as of Wednesday from North Carolina to Maine. 我们先来看看美国的状况。美国总统奥巴马宣布 North Carolina 和 New York 州为严重的灾区，也增加了政府对这两个地方的重建资金。And now to the demonstration in Spain. People are taking it to the streets to voice their disapproval against the government's latest attempt to limit the debt and deficit levels. 西班牙最近也不是很平静，民众走上街头，要求政府对国债的问题提出解决方法。
Protesters outside the Spanish Parliament. They're unhappy that the government has started debating reforms to the country's constitution, which would allow it to set limits on their debt and deficit levels.
We're saying they should consult us before doing such a shameless thing. They should hold a referendum and not behave secretively.
The debate inside Parliament on reforming the constitution only came about after a surprise agreement last week between Prime Minister Zapatero's governing Socialist Party and the opposition Popular Party. Recent figures showed Spain's growth slowed in the second quarter to just 0.2%, and investors are worried about the country's ability to get its finances under control. The opposition Popular Party spokeswoman says they're working together to help Spain's economy.
No se puede gastar más de lo que se ingresa.
We cannot spend more than we earn. From now on, budgetary stability is not an option. It is a public duty. It is a constitutional duty because it is an indispensable condition for growth, job creation and the sustainability of our welfare state.
While the decision has led to protests at home, it pleased international markets. Europe's economic powerhouses, Germany and France, recently called on Spain and other heavily indebted Eurozone nations to set limits on their deficits.
The
fact that Spain has written debt-limiting steps into its constitution is an encouraging sign that more and more European states have chosen this path of reason and want to fight the problems at their source.
Zapatero wants to cut Spain's budget deficit to 6% of GDP this year from 9.2% in 2010. But the government cuts are unpopular with voters, and Spain holds elections in November.
Now turning to health news, this is not something completely new to us, as we are often advised to eat healthy. However, the new study definitely acts as the first and a direct reminder that we should maintain a healthy lifestyle starting at a young age to cut the risk of heart diseases in the future. 大家都知道小孩子营养不良会影响他们的发育，但现在有研究说，小孩子跟青少年如果在发育的时候营养不足，他们长大后会比一般人多出27% 的机会得到心脏疾病。
Based on a research that tracks down the heart health of Dutch women who lived through the famine at the end of World War II, researchers found that those who consumed only 400 to 800 calories per day, mostly aged between 10 and 17 at that time, have a 27% higher risk of heart disease later on in their lives. The result is considered as the first direct evidence that indicates the importance of early nutrition and how it can shape our future health. Researchers said that it's good to realize that childhood malnutrition can have long-lasting negative impact on later adult health, so that people are well aware of the fact that it is significant for children and young individuals to develop a healthy diet.
The lead singer of Maroon 5, Adam Levine, has recently joined voices with Christina Aguilera for the new hit, Moves Like Jagger. Now let's check out the new single, which is about one of the most influential frontmen in the history of rock and roll, Mick Jagger's irresistible charm on stage. 魔力红的主唱 Adam Levine 最近和 Christina Aguilera 合作一首新歌，新歌是关于摇滚歌手 Mick Jagger 的故事，风格非常的复古，我们一起来听听吧。 The Los Angeles musician Adam Levine, who is known for his role as the guitarist and vocalist of the pop rock band Maroon 5, has been working extra as the coach for the American talent show The Voice. And through the program, Levine is able to show the public what he is really like when he's not singing about girls.
I don't care what people think most of the time, but it was nice because, you know, I think people had a certain idea of who I was based on the music or things that they might have heard, but no one really knew who I actually was. And it was a nice opportunity to show my personality and that I have a brain and that I'm not just a singing bimbo that likes girls. It's also true, I am a bimbo and I like to sing and I like girls, but there's more to my personality. It's a little more dynamic than that, so I like to show that on the show.
The Voice was an instant hit on its first season, and Levine, along with pop star Christina Aguilera, took advantage of the immense popularity of it by first performing Moves Like Jagger on the show.
How to make me smile, take control on me just for the night. And if I share my secret, you're gonna have to keep it. Nobody else can see this.
As one of the writers, Levine describes how it was putting together the single, which refers to Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger's ability to melt the hearts of the ladies with his moves. The song debuted at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 before topping multiple charts around the world, including Canada, Ireland, South Korea, and New Zealand.
It was fun, man. It was just crazy, you know, Frankenstein, just everyone coming in and writing and hanging out, and it was a fun vibe, and it just felt really special. We really were all excited about it when it was happening, thinking this is really cool, people are going to love this. So it was awesome.
As for the future of Maroon 5, the heavily inked Levine and keyboardist Jesse Carmichael are both promising that they won't let their fans wait too long.
The album's coming out. We're going to make it as quickly as we can. Ride this wave of momentum and, you know, keep making music and just keep working.
Everything's speeding up, you know, so we gotta get back in the studio quick.
Moves Like Jagger is included in the re-release of Maroon 5's latest album, Hands All Over. Not a bad tune at all. Now turning to movie news, starring Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, and Jason Sudeikis, comedy Horrible Bosses is hitting the big screen this Friday here in Taiwan. Now let's take a look at the conspiracy of the three friends as they plot to murder the abusive bosses for making their lives miserable. 接下来看看这周台湾会上映的新片 ，Jennifer Aniston 主演的 Horrible Bosses 会在周五上映。坏老板们又对员工使出哪些招数呢？我们一起来看看。
You woman? It's 8:15 a.m. It's 18-year-old Scott. If you want a promotion, you gotta earn it. Did I tell you that Harkin tricked me into having a drink at 8 o'clock this morning?
Unless your boss isn't sexually harassing you.
See if this thing is working. Oh, I can make out our little friend right there.
Stop it.
Ooh, Shabbat Shalom. Somebody's circumcised.
You know, yours doesn't sound that bad.
We need to trim some of the fat.
What do you mean by trim the fat?
I want you to fire the fat people. You can start with Large Marge. Marge, can you come in here, please?
What?
I thought he was going to give you a promotion.
Yeah, no, he is.
I have decided who I want to be our new vice president of sales. Me.
What do you say?
Nick, please, we're in the middle of a meeting.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'll just attribute this to your drinking problem.
You would have to admit our lives would be easier if our bosses weren't alive.
You can fire Professor Xavier.
You mean Hank?
Creeps me out, rolling around all day in a special little secret chair.
I don't care how bad our bosses are. We're not murderers.
This little sweetheart right here,
My fiance
is going to get a peek at my little photo album.
You did all this while I was unconscious?
That's my favorite.
I'm in! Let's kill this bitch! We gotta hire a professional.
Does anyone here kill people for money?
I'm gonna be your murder consultant.
Word.
You wanna pull off a brilliant murder? It's gotta look like it's an accident. You gotta be smart.
It's gotta be worth, what, $15,000? I feel like everything's gonna work out. Look how fast I'm picking out this scrap, you know? I'm moving like super fast. I can't even feel my nose.
Find them vulnerable.
Peanuts? That was a peanut butter sandwich. Are you not good with peanuts?
Whoa, whoa, look at this.
What about Little Jabs? Little Jabs?
My boss, who we're planning to kill, is dying in front of you and you saved his life?
Well, that sounds bad when you say it like that.
I was surveilling your boss. She's incredibly hot.
Don't talk about how hot she is.
She makes herself a little snack, a popsicle, a banana, and finally, a hot dog. And eating them in that weird order, that's not a proper meal. It's cold to hot.
I can crush you anytime I want.
Explain Why are you doing 61 in a 25 zone?
I was drag racing.
In a Prius.
I don't win a lot.